Hey, Goldin here. This is my first time making an actual video, well obviously besides my frag movie of course, and I thought I'd try to make a good first impression by making a how-to spy guide.
Very original.
That can work for both comp and pubs. I guess we could start off by looking at the spy's weapons and work our way from there. To start off at the extreme basics of this guide, we could talk about the revolvers. Now, everyone knows that the spy has a gun, right? Well, apparently not. Well, it's true. Any of these revolvers can be used to either A, finish off an enemy, B, output damage in case you fail to stab, or C, pretend to know how to aim. Of course, I'm sure a majority of you would maybe rather do an epic Trickstab. Well, I'm not going to stop you and tell you that's wrong. Do as you please. But in my personal opinion, using a gun to finish off enemies or kill an enemy that has spotted you would be a lot more simpler. Knowing how to use each and every kind of revolver is very essential and rewarding, especially for learning what gun works best for you. The revolver. This is personally my favorite. It deals the damage and frightens the person you're fighting if you can hit your shots. This is my personal go-to weapon of choice when I'm playing spy. Please bring back the ambassador. The Letranger, the literal anger, the stranger, the Lit Ranger. This is my second go-to revolver for spy. It grants me more cloak and gives me more time to think out my actions before I go in for a stab. The minus 20 damage penalty doesn't stop me from mowing down enemies that are low or chasing after me. This is usually used for bigger maps or maps with not many ammo packs around. Also, don't be afraid to shoot an enemy when you're out of cloak. The gun grants you 50% more of your cloak back each time you hit a shot.
Wow, you're so helpful, Mr. Letranger.
The Enforcer can be useful sometimes. Personally, I don't use it that much, but when I do, it's pretty fun to use. I only tend to use this revolver when I encounter a sniper that has a quick reaction time. Just stand right behind him and you can easily get a 2-shot kill. Pretty handy, but not something I'd pick often. I literally don't even need to go over this. Just do normal spy things like stab and sap buildings and you get free pre-nerf ambi headshots from any range on any part of the enemy's body. I don't understand why they nerfed the ambi but not this crazy pub stomping gun. Now normally I'd use this as my go-to weapon, but its recent nerf caused it to be an up-close and personal gun instead of a mini sniper like it used to be. 9 times out of 10, if you're fighting somebody up close with this gun, you're probably going to end up dying, or losing a lot of your health. I'd only use this revolver in close range maps such as CP Steel. Now that we got the revolvers out of the way, let's go over Spy's main weapon, the knives. As I stated in the revolver section, knowing how to use each and every kind of knife that Spy has to offer is very essential and very rewarding. Your knife should be your main source of killing 85% of the time.
But Goldin, I want to do epic Trickstabs.
Of course, getting behind the enemy line is your first step in doing this, as you guys should know. Your knife is used for A, picking off key targets, B, poking low health players, or C,
epic Trickstabs.
To start off, we've got the knife. This is obviously everyone's go-to spy knife, as it has no downsides and does what it was meant to do. This is definitely my go-to out of any of the knives. This knife is very self-explanatory. Just go behind and get backstabs and ta-da, you know the basics of spy. The Spicicle. This is usually my second go-to knife, especially when there's like 20 paranoid pyros on the other team or just one really good pyro that won't hop of my dick. As I was saying, this is a very good knife, especially when trying to survive longer and keeping away from the pyro. My only complaint on using this weapon is that when I'm about to go in for a kill and the pyro lights me on fire and costs me an important key pick. The kunai. I love this weapon.
I love the clear blue skies.
It's very fun to use in pubs and get awesome chain stabs and then get called a weeb in chat. Oh. Anyway, this is usually my go-to mess around knife if the enemy team is bad or I just feel like stealing everyone's health. This weapon also definitely teaches you how to walk around the battlefield with low health and position yourself accordingly to get key picks. When using this weapon, don't get cocky just because you have a lot of health. People can still kill you even if you're getting huge chain stabs. The Big Earner. Now this isn't my favorite knife, but it can come in handy for getting away or getting behind the enemy's back fast and easier. But my gripe with this knife is that it's as huge as Spy's forearm. Holy shit. My actual gripe with this knife is that the minus 25 health is very, very useful in a lot of scenarios. You could surf a rocket, a pipe, survive a long fall, afterburn, etc. Just with that extra 25 health. But instead, you can get one shot by literally anything. Scope snipers, ambi headshots,
Rip.
rockets, pills, stickies, meat shots, shotguns, and the list goes on and on from there. Not my favorite, but that's just my opinion. This knife can be very handy if you know how to use it correctly. The Your Eternal Reward. I love using this knife if I'm feeling relaxed and just want to absolutely destroy the enemy team without them noticing. I tend to have to use this knife with the l'étranger so that it cancels out that plus 33% cloak drain. I'd only recommend using this to learn how to act with other disguises that you don't normally use and to take out huge sentry nests. The Invis Watch. This is basically everyone's go-to choice of watch. It's the most effective, does its job, and is very helpful. I 90% of the time use this watch over any of the other watches. Not that the others are bad, just gets the job done better. The Dead Ringer. It's a pretty good watch. I only usually use this in pubs if I want to walk on the enemy team and just stab everyone, or if people love to chase me and not leave me alone. Either works. The Cloak and Dagger. Other than just being a meme, this watch can be pretty useful for giving out info to your teammates on enemies' locations and where everyone's positioned. This watch can also be used to really time your stabs if the enemy is being very paranoid and just keeps turning around every 3 seconds. This watch is better used with the l'étranger to maximize your walking distance. Also, for the love of God, try not to jump while using this cloak because it drains it even faster, and I just have a habit of jumping and thought you guys should know too. Don't be like me. Just use the Sapper. It's the only good one. Wait, what are you doing? No! Please, stop. Stop it. What is wrong with you?
First, we'll start off with what kind of mindset you should have as a spy. Okay, so this is gonna sound crazy, but you don't actually need to be a weeb to be good at spy. Absolute insanity, I know. Besides that, your mindset as a spy should always be to go for key picks. So classes like medic, heavy, demo, sniper. Don't just stab randomly because you're knife raised and you feel like you should kill them. Picking off key targets is crucial for your team to gain the advantage and winning the game. Also keep in mind that while playing spy, do note that you're gonna end up dying a shit ton and won't get many frags. At least in competitive, that is. If you can accept the fact that spy is a weak class and that you won't get many picks, you can become an amazing spy. Another thing to do is always act out your disguise, even if you're being really obvious. Always decloak in weird spots like on top of roofs, behind a wall, in a corner, way up high, way down low. Just anywhere where the enemy can't hear you decloak, and then go in for your pick. Next thing is, let's say you get a pick. What do you do next? A. Randomly keep walking forward for another pick that's close by. B. Cloak away and try to trick the enemy into thinking you went one way when you actually went the other. Or C. Taunt and spam your epic binds to show how epic and cool you are.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
A and B are usually the ones you'd want to go for, although B is the far better option if there's nobody around and people have already spotted you. C is if you know you're gonna die and you just want to meme it out and piss the enemy off. If the enemy is being too paranoid, start just waiting around and calling out enemy positions to your teammates so they can finish them off and ensure that you won't die to the paranoid enemies. Another thing, let's say there's a few engineers with level 3s set up. What would you do to ensure the nest goes down? A. Sap everything until all of it is gone. B. Sap and stab to make sure you're safe and won't get killed from the engineers. Or C. Stand there
Menacingly.
He's just standing there. Menacingly!
A and B usually get the job done 90% of the time, but what if you can't kill the engineers or the sentries? Let your team know where the sentries are and try to coordinate a push to sap and destroy everything with a timed push with one of your teammates. The last thing for mindset is what class to prioritize the most and which to prioritize the least. The classes you should prioritize the most in order would be medic, sniper, NG, demo, heavy, soldier, spy, pyro, and then scout. Next, we'll go over what to keep track of while playing spy. Usually after you kill somebody, you'd want to keep track of who went down and what class they were playing so you can disguise as them and trick the enemy into thinking you're them. You should always keep track of where the enemy pyro likes to hang around and try to avoid going in his general area. Another thing is to always make sure you're not the same disguise every single time so that the enemy will start checking the classes you were disguised as before instead of what you're disguised using now. Always keep track of who's the most paranoid of the enemy team and do your best to avoid going in their general area and only go for them when you know they won't attempt to shoot you. Also, keeping track of the point is helpful for your team too. If somebody is on the point and you know your team can't kill them, go for them to help your team out and ensure a victory for your team. You should always see if the enemy has an engineer on their team so you can attempt to keep their sentries and teleporters down at all times, if not most times. You'd want to keep their dispensers up so you can use them to your own advantage and heal up. If you're done using it, just sap it. When sapping anything, you should most definitely always pull your gun out and shoot the building so it goes down faster, and so the engineer can't unsap it quick enough. It's very effective and will help out immensely. You should also see if the enemy has a sniper. If they do, try and take them out a lot too. It will help your team be able to freely walk large sightlines and avoid getting their heads blown off. Trust me, they'll thank you later. Last but not least, check the medic's medigun and see what % of Uber he's at. If he's near Uber, either call him out for your team or go in and try to drop him. Okay, so I know a lot of you love doing Trickstabs as spy, but me personally, I don't find them that useful. Why? Well, the answer is simple. Not a lot of people fall for Trickstabs anymore, therefore, there's no point in doing them so often. Sure, it'll work a lot in pubs, but when you play competitive as spy, it hardly ever works on anyone. Everyone has a brain and knows what Trickstabs are, but let's just say we're playing only pubs. I still would only do them in situations where I'm in trouble or I'm about to die. They're really only last-ditch effort things, so if you're only playing spy to get cool and pointless Trickstabs, then you're not really playing spy correctly at all. I used to be all about Trickstabs when I was younger, but as time went on, I soon realized that it's probably better to use my gun and learn where and how to decloak to get my stabs. But hey, if you want to be the guy to Trickstab everyone in a game, then be my guest. I'm not gonna stop you. Play how you want to play. If it's fun for you, then go right on ahead. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry if this video was extremely tragic and cringy, but I really didn't have any ideas on what kind of video to make. If you guys would like more how-to spy videos, comment down below letting me know. If you have any video ideas, let me know down in the comment section too. I don't have many great ideas for videos, so your guys' feedback would help me out a lot. I also have a Discord server and it'll be down in the description. I always talk and respond with people there, so if you're interested, come on in and have a conversation with me. But besides all that, thank you for watching and subscribe if you want more spy videos from me. The only skateboard beat, that's your favorite.